Welcome to Vintage Touch Decor with Soul. In today's video, we're diving into a fresh, spring-inspired makeover with a vintage twist, bringing you timeless charm with modern touches. We'll explore how Nancy Meyers' iconic style of cozy elegance can transform your home into a warm, inviting sanctuary. Nancy Meyers' films are renowned for their stunning home aesthetics, blending vintage pieces with modern design. This spring, we're taking inspiration from her signature style to give your space a refreshed look, filled with cozy, chic elements. Whether it's through vintage finds or subtle modern touches, we'll help you recreate that same effortless elegance. If you love vintage decor and want to learn how to combine the old with the new, make sure to subscribe to our channel, like the video, and leave us a comment sharing your thoughts on Nancy Meyers' timeless home designs. Let's dive into creating a spring sanctuary. When it comes to spring decorating, blending vintage pieces with modern elements is the perfect way to create a timeless, chic home. Vintage items like antique furniture or classic rugs can give your space history and character. By pairing these with sleek, contemporary pieces, you create a balance that feels fresh yet rooted in tradition. One of the easiest ways to blend these two styles is through color and texture. Soft pastels, like mint green or dusty rose, are perfect for vintage finds, while modern, clean lines in furniture or accessories can ground the space. Think of a vintage armchair with a contemporary throw pillow or an antique lamp next to a modern coffee table. Remember, it's all about balance. Don't be afraid to experiment with mixing different eras. A well-placed vintage mirror or an old wooden frame can bring character to a room without overwhelming the space. Take inspiration from Nancy Meyers' films, where she effortlessly mixes old and new to create a cohesive, inviting environment. Spring is all about refreshing your space with light, airy colors that breathe new life into your home. Soft pastels like blush pink, lavender, and mint green are perfect for vintage-inspired spaces. These colors bring a sense of warmth and calm, while still feeling fresh for the season. Try incorporating these hues into your walls, furniture, or throw pillows for an instant spring update. Textures also play a key role in giving your vintage pieces a spring refresh. Linen curtains, velvet cushions, and cotton throws add a sense of lightness to a room while still providing comfort. Vintage furniture made of wood or metal can be softened with textiles that bring tactile pleasure and visual interest. It's all about creating a space that feels cozy yet airy. By embracing soft colors and natural textures, you can create a harmonious environment that is perfect for the spring season. It's a great way to update your vintage pieces without overhauling your entire space. Follow Nancy Meyers' lead and keep things relaxed, effortlessly beautiful, and perfect for the warmer months. As the weather warms up, it's the perfect time to incorporate subtle seasonal changes into your vintage-inspired space. Small updates, like fresh flowers in antique vases or vintage ceramic pitchers, can create a welcoming, springtime atmosphere. These seasonal touches feel fresh and lively while still honoring the timeless beauty of your vintage pieces. You don't have to completely redecorate for the season. Simple changes like swapping out heavier curtains for lightweight linen or adding a pastel-colored throw can completely transform a room. Consider using vintage planters or baskets to bring in greenery and florals, adding texture and color that echo the new season. These small but impactful changes will breathe new life into your home. Nancy Meyers spaces are known for their effortless elegance, and adding seasonal elements with a vintage twist can create that same inviting, cozy feel. So, whether it's a fresh bouquet or a delicate vintage candle, don't hesitate to bring in spring's warmth and beauty with simple, seasonal decor updates. Creating a cozy, inviting atmosphere in your home is essential, especially during the spring months. Vintage items, such as antique armchairs, soft throws, and vintage rugs, help create a warm, comforting space. When paired with modern, light fabrics like cotton or linen, these vintage pieces can bring a cozy charm without feeling heavy. A vintage lamp casting soft light can also transform a room into a cozy retreat. One of the best ways to achieve a cozy vibe is by layering textures. A vintage quilt or throw blanket on a modern sofa can make the space feel more inviting. You can also add vintage wooden furniture or an antique side table, paired with modern minimalist touches, to create contrast and warmth. It's all about combining old and new to create a balanced, comfortable space. Nancy Meyers films are known for their cozy, lived-in spaces that invite you to relax. By incorporating vintage pieces that add history and character, you can recreate that same feeling in your own home. Adding personal items like vintage books or a cherished heirloom helps bring soul to your space, making it uniquely yours. Lighting plays a huge role in setting the mood for any space, and when it comes to vintage-inspired homes, it's important to balance the charm of old pieces with the brightness of spring. Vintage lighting fixtures, such as antique chandeliers or retro table lamps, can create a warm, welcoming glow. Pairing these pieces with natural light from windows makes the room feel bright, airy, and timeless. To make the most of vintage lighting, consider layering it with modern fixtures. For example, a vintage chandelier can work beautifully alongside a contemporary floor lamp or sleek pendant lighting. This combination will add depth and dimension to the room, while ensuring the lighting feels fresh for spring. Don't forget the power of candlelight. Vintage candelabras or candle holders bring a soft, romantic glow to any room. Nancy Meyers films often feature stunning lighting that brings out the elegance and warmth of vintage decor. By mixing vintage lighting with natural elements, you can create a cozy, well-lit space perfect for relaxing or entertaining. The key is to layer different lighting sources to create a balanced, ambient atmosphere that complements both vintage and modern elements. Vintage-inspired wall art is an excellent way to introduce personality and charm to your home, especially in the spring. From classic botanical prints to old-world maps, vintage art can transform a wall into a focal point of the room. By incorporating modern framing techniques or mixing them with contemporary pieces, you can create a fresh, balanced look that still celebrates timeless designs. Consider pairing vintage art with a neutral-colored wall to really make the artwork stand out. Soft pastels or earth tones work well for a spring refresh and allow the art's colors to shine through. You could also create a gallery wall by mixing vintage and modern prints, offering a fun and dynamic visual element that adds interest and style to any space. Just like Nancy Meyers' iconic movie sets, vintage wall art can set the tone for your home. Whether it's a large vintage painting over the sofa or a collection of smaller framed pieces, your walls can tell a story. By choosing pieces that resonate with you, you can bring warmth and depth to your space, perfectly complementing your spring decor. Vintage furniture brings a timeless appeal to your home, but for a spring refresh, consider updating or reworking key pieces to match the season. A vintage armchair reupholstered in a light, spring-inspired fabric can add an inviting touch to any room. Incorporating pastel tones or floral patterns into the upholstery can bring a fresh vibe to classic furniture pieces while maintaining their vintage character. Another great way to refresh your vintage furniture is by introducing new finishes. For instance, refinishing a vintage wooden dining table in a lighter, weathered finish can bring a modern feel to the traditional piece. Pairing it with new, contemporary chairs or table settings can create an interesting blend of old and new, perfect for the spring season. Nancy Meyers' home designs often include carefully chosen vintage furniture pieces, each one exuding elegance and charm. By thoughtfully incorporating vintage furniture into your spring refresh, you can achieve a cozy, stylish space that feels both fresh and nostalgic. Whether it's a repainted vintage dresser or a newly reupholstered set of chairs, updating your furniture can make a big impact. Textiles are an essential element in any spring refresh, and vintage fabrics offer an incredible opportunity to bring both comfort and style into your home. Consider adding vintage quilts, throw blankets, or pillows made from delicate, faded florals or classic patterns like gingham. These pieces introduce a sense of nostalgia while softening the room and creating a welcoming atmosphere. For a truly cozy, spring-inspired look, drape vintage fabrics over your furniture. A vintage crochet throw blanket or a hand-woven tapestry can add texture and warmth to a space while maintaining the effortless elegance associated with Nancy Meyers' designs. The combination of rich history in the fabric and the softness of spring tones makes for an inviting home. Vintage textiles also work wonderfully in smaller details, like table runners or placemats. For a light and airy vibe, choose fabrics in soft pastel hues or linen blends that evoke a sense of calm and freshness. By thoughtfully integrating vintage fabrics into your decor, you'll create a cohesive spring look that's both timeless and modern. As the weather warms up, outdoor spaces become a natural extension of your home. Transform your patio or garden with vintage-inspired furniture and decor. Consider vintage wrought iron patio chairs, a rustic wooden table, or charming garden planters. These elements not only evoke a sense of history, but also create a relaxing space perfect for enjoying the spring sunshine. To enhance your outdoor areas, consider using vintage fabrics for cushions, throws, or outdoor rugs. A vintage floral throw blanket draped across a wicker chair or a set of pillows made from old floral tablecloths can create a cozy and inviting atmosphere. These simple touches can help bridge the indoor and outdoor spaces, creating a seamless transition from your home to your garden. Adding vintage lighting to your outdoor areas is another great way to create ambience. Whether it's string lights with a retro twist or lanterns reminiscent of classic designs, vintage lighting can illuminate your outdoor space with a warm, inviting glow. This combination of vintage and modern touches can elevate your springtime gatherings, making them feel special and timeless. Spring is the season for vibrant blooms, and incorporating vintage floral arrangements into your home is an easy way to bring the freshness of the season inside. Vintage vases, whether made of porcelain, crystal, or rustic stoneware, are perfect for displaying fresh flowers. A single bouquet of peonies or tulips in a beautiful, weathered vase instantly adds charm and sophistication to any room. When choosing flowers for your vintage-inspired arrangements, think about the colors and textures that complement your existing decor. Soft pastels like blush pinks, lavender, and buttery yellows work wonderfully with vintage furniture and create a sense of calm. Alternatively, bold blooms like deep red roses or sunflowers can add a touch of drama and elegance. These floral combinations create a beautiful contrast against vintage furniture and accessories. Floral arrangements can also be used in unexpected places, like atop a vintage sideboard or as a centerpiece on your dining table. By using mismatched, vintage-inspired containers such as old mason jars or tarnished silver teapots, you create an eclectic and charming display that reflects your personal style. A well-placed floral arrangement can serve as the perfect finishing touch to any vintage-inspired spring decor. As we wrap up our spring refresh journey, remember that vintage decor isn't just about filling your home with old treasures. It's about creating a space that tells your unique story. From vintage-inspired furniture to the soft touches of spring blooms, each element adds warmth, charm, and character to your home. As you embrace these timeless pieces, you invite a sense of nostalgia and beauty into your everyday life. Spring is the perfect time to breathe new life into your home with vintage decor. By mixing modern touches with classic, well-loved pieces, you create an environment that feels both fresh and timeless. Whether you're adding a vintage vase, updating your outdoor space, or refreshing your textiles, each step brings you closer to creating the cozy, inviting home of your dreams. Thank you for joining us on this spring refresh journey with Nancy Meyers-inspired vintage decor. If you enjoyed these tips, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment below. Share how you're adding vintage touches to your own home this spring, and let's continue to celebrate the beauty of timeless design together.